you asked about what sets Mota apart, I really want to make sure that I talked about the technology that goes into it and the heart behind the owner. So when we talk about these boots, we're going to talk about a couple of things first. It's going to be Doug and Julie Glass. They're coming in from, we have 2 world champion speed skaters designing the boot. We've got Doug Glass, who spent his time learning the craft of building carbon fiber and fiberglass boots all through the 80s and 90s. So when they set out to build this boot and these plates, they said we want to do everything right. We don't want to have any issues with something breaking, being wrong, and they wanted to make sure that it was the right boot. So what you're looking at right here is actually a 3rd generation custom. So in a short time that Mota's been out, we're already onto our 3rd generation. So when we talk about it being a 3rd gen, we're talking about the fact that our first run had a much stiffer sole here, more carbon fiber up in the arch. And what we found was if you didn't have that perfect middle of the line foot, we'd need to go ahead and do a lot of adjustments. So we found that by just softening that up a little bit, it made it a much better derby specific boot versus a speed skating boot. We've done the same here on the side of the toe box, so that for those of us like myself with a wide ball of the foot, we've got a lot more comfort and easy adjustability here. And then if we look inside, it'll be hard to see on the camera, but you'll see these small bumps here inside, if you contrast the lettuce. Those are a thermal foam, so we can set that heel to be locked in completely. So those are the changes from the 3rd gen. But the reason those all work is the shape of this boot. When you look here at the back slope, when you build a boot like a set of shoes, they don't lock your ankle in place. And once that ankle isn't locked, your whole foot can move. So when you find yourself getting bunched toes or rubbing in front, what can actually be happening is that your heel isn't locked down enough and your foot is able to slide and shift inside the boot. As soon as we get that ankle locked in place, everything else goes away. So we tend to try and work on getting that ankle molded in first. So for the heat moldability, we can blow this wide or narrow, and it can be done with a simple hair dryer, with a heat gun. It doesn't matter. What we do is we heat it up individually, bring it in or out as needed. We can really lock it in. Unlike cardboard counters or a leather counter in other boots, you can remold these 100, 200, 350 times. No issue, no change in the material. The reason I know this is I just got back from doing 8 months traveling, coaching, and reffing all the way through Central America. And when I did that, my skates lived in a dry bag. So we're talking about taking them off, sticking them in a dry bag. It's hot, it's humid, it's wet, it's coming up to like 100 degrees. These things were getting reheat molded every single day in the sun on the back of my motorcycle. I pull them out of the bag, get a little heat on them, get them ready to go, skate in them perfect. They survived well enough that after a year and a half of me abusing them and beating on them, I was able to hand them off to a deserving rep in Mexico who said, hey, I gotta choose between buying myself a set of skates or buying my wife a set of skates. He had already tried mine, they fit. I said, you know what, you take those, buy your wife a new set of skates. They're that durable that they could be beaten on by a guy who breaks everything, run in the worst conditions on the planet, and they're still gonna come out perfect. So as we look at the material selection again, you see this is a custom. So we've got panels, all different selections. On top of that, your tongue color and your straps can all be customized with and without the toe cover, which keeps our laces secure. I ran that same set of skates for a year and a half without having to change laces because the enemy to your laces is dirt and moisture. So if you can keep the dirt and moisture from getting into the lace, you can keep it from breaking. So with or without the toe cover, depending on your options, I love mine with. And then molded. I've got a set of feet that are just the hardest to mold anywhere. I've got a 9.5 left foot, a 10.5 right foot. My first set of skates from Mota were some testers. They were a single set of size 10s. I was able to mold out enough to fit my right foot and in enough to fit my left. So out of a single set of size 10s, I was able to make it work and really get those dialed in, so I knew exactly where I was going. When I went to my customs, I ordered that proper 9.5 left, 10.5 right, and they fit like a glove. They're just incredibly comfortable. So now we've kind of talked about the construction of it. Let's talk about the rationale. So when you look at this boot, you see this hard, rigid carbon fiber sole. It's very firm, it's very stiff for a reason. What that's doing is it's transferring all of our energy directly to the plate and then directly to the wheels. What you see here is unlike a leather boot, whereas your foot moves, it pulls against the leather, which stretches, and then pulls against the stitching on the sole, which lifts the sole, and then pulls on the nuts on your truck to get it to move. it takes a delay and additional energy to make that work. When you look at a rigid carbon fiber that's properly fitted to your foot, when you make a change, it's actually the pressure being directly applied between the plate and the boot that allows that transition to happen extremely quickly. When I first switched over from the leather boot into the Boss and the Mojos, I literally overcompensated in everything I did. It took me 3 or 4 good long skate sessions to dial back my reactions. When I did that, it gave me more time to think and process what was happening and better control of what I'm doing on the track. So it gives us all those options. My original set was our first set of testers, which was a leather heel riser right here. We've now gone to this urethane heel riser, and I immediately noticed the difference when I got my Gen 3s. It kind of cushions my heel a little bit, but doesn't slow the reactions at all. So as I stamp or move, I get just a little bit of cushion on the heel. So apex jumps, getting forward or back, really taking a hard hit while I'm plowing or power sliding, it absorbs just that little extra bit of energy so that it's not beating up my feet as bad. So right there, we're looking at all the technology behind the Mojo boot and the Boss chassis and how those come together. That 16-degree truck angle, it's a perfect middle of the road. Are really high-quality urethane cushions. They don't break down. My prior set of plates, I was replacing cushions every 3 to 4 months. I replaced cushions once in a year and a half on my last set of skates. Lots of options, lots of adjustability. We can go different colored plates and trucks like you see here. We have a one-piece cast truck or an adjustable 2-piece here, so you can really dial in your action. And we also have our clip speed release axles or our threaded axles with our new colored Mota nuts here, so that you can really dial it in whether you change wheels a lot and you want that clip action, or you're just gonna go with old standard and really lock in that wheel that you know is right for you. So hopefully you guys will come by, get fitted for some Mota boots, we'll get taken care of and take you to that next level.